Hi, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been with us before, welcome back. And if you just slide by, saw the title, and decide to click on, welcome. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Here on Travel Buddies, what we do is everything travel. That's blogs, challenges, story times, anything with travel, tips and tricks, we do it all. So if you want to stand by for this story time, that's a little different from my other story times, stay tuned. Alright, this story time is about the time that I was doing my vacation prep, and I think I almost scammed my hairstylist. I don't know, y'all let me know down in the comments, but let me tell you the story. Okay, I was getting ready for a vacation. As normal, you know, as a lady we have to get our our hair, our nails, our pedicures, our waxing. We have to do a little bit of everything to get ready for a vacation. And this vacation was like no other. We had to do all that. But I make my appointments a month before. Like if I know, because I have so many vacations that me and my husband plan during the year. Not just birthday vacations. We have like social vacations that we do. We have spiritual vacations that we do. Like we have a good little bit of vacations that we like to take during the year. So I'm always making sure I have my prep scheduled prior to me going. And I like to make sure my hair appointments are usually the day before I leave. And the reason why I like to do that is because I like to have my hair fresh before we leave. And my waxing and nails and stuff I like to do a couple of days out. But my hair I like to do the day before. Okay. Always almost about to bite me in my butt because usually sometimes it, have a little hiccup, but it gets done. Okay, so I went ahead and I booked my appointment for my hair a month out, like normal. And this stylist I have been using for the last 8 vacations, so she has been like, when I find somebody that's good, that I can count on, that's what I use. So I have been using it for the last 8. Before that, I was like bouncing from person to person because they were giving me like bad vibes on why they might one day not be able to do my hair. So she was, coming in clutch for me, okay? So I booked it, paid my deposit, and I was good. So getting closer to vacation, it was actually 3 days before my appointment with her. And usually I text a week before and be like, what kind of hair I need to get, if I'm getting braids, or if I'm getting, like, whatever I'm getting, I usually text, what kind of hair you prefer, still confirming. I usually do that a week before. But I didn't do that this time because me and her had been like, she'd been coming in clutch. And usually she, when she makes your appointment, she sends what type of hair to get, how many lengths, and all that stuff. Because before she makes your appointment, she makes sure that what you're getting is what she's going to, she gives you what she's going to need for that appointment. So that's what I like too, because she's very thorough. And once you pay your deposit, she sends you the whole gist to make sure this is the style you want, this is the length you want, this is all, she sends you the whole rundown in a text to make sure, y'all on the same page. So I appreciate that. She did that from the first time I used her till the last time I used her. So I was like, okay, I'm good with her, so I don't have to call to verify anything because I'm good. So 3 days before, she texted me and she said, hey, hon, I'm so sorry, but I had an emergency. I will not be able to do your hair on, I think it was a Friday, because we were leaving that Saturday. And she said, I'm not going to be able to do your hair on Friday. She said, I'm sorry, but I have an emergency. I've been looking around for other stylists to do your hair, but unfortunately, I can't find anyone, and I'm sorry. And I'm going to be sending you back your deposit. So I said, okay, cool. It is what it is. Things come up, right? So I said, all right, thank you so much. I said, I guess I'll have to find somebody. I just said, thank you so much. I guess I'm going to have to find someone else. So After I hung up with her, I went to Instagram because I'm like, okay, let me hashtag it and see if I can find somebody hashtagging it. And so that's what I did. And so I started hashtagging people to see what I could find, in the area. So I saw a few people or whatever, and I'm like, no real, when I, text them and ask them if they could do hair or whatever, they're like, yeah. Like one word answers. And I'm a business person just like a lot. And usually I will give a rundown or, like hey, how you doing? I wanted to know if you were able to do this. And I would get a yes. Or yeah. Or when you want your appointment. Like, I don't know if it was me, but I just was expecting a little more. Like, sure, I can do it. What type of hair? When do you want it? A little more conversation. I guess that's what I was looking for. So I didn't get that from the couple of people that I had text. So I said, well, you know what? Let me text back my girl that, was supposed to do my hair Friday and see if she have anything earlier, because she knows I like to get it done fresh. So I was like, maybe she thinking, you know what? I can't get till on Friday. I have other appointments Friday or something else I got to do Friday, whatever. But let me let her know I'm willing to do earlier. I could come today. I could come tomorrow. I don't mind it being, a few days not fresh. So I texted and I said, hey, do you have anything, up to Friday? And she said, actually, I'll be out of town. I'm leaving town now. I have an emergency and I got to be out of town now. And I said, okay, I understand. So I hung up with her. I stopped texting her. So then I was like, so where do I go to actually try to find somebody? So I'm sitting there and I'm still looking through Instagram, because now it's like, okay, I only got 3 days. And it's on a Friday that I need to get my hair done. And we leave Saturday morning. So I'm like, let me try. I saw on one of someone's Instagram, she had Style Seat, to book your appointment through Style Seat. And I said, Style Seat. So I clicked on Style Seat and to make my appointment. So when I clicked on there to make my appointment, to look and see what Style Seat was, I see all these hairdressers and beauticians and nail techs and barbers, and you can narrow it down to what you're looking for, down to even the style. Like you can look for the stylist you want. If you don't know the stylist, you can look for the area. In the area, you can find what type of style you want, things like that. So it had a lot of little breakdowns that you can sort it out to get what you're looking for. So that's what I did. And it came up with a list of people actually really close to me, not too far from me, a generalization of people. So I was like, oh, this is cool. This is tight. So this one person, so I'm like, okay, so you can actually see some of their work and all that. So I'm loving it. So I'm looking, I'm loving it. As a consumer, I was like, yes, this is kind of cool. So I'm looking and everything. And then I saw one girl, she had not only her Style Seat photos, she said, you can also check my Instagram. And, I'm like, oh, sweet. Let me go look at your Instagram. So I get out of there, I'm looking at her Instagram, and she got different photos on her Instagram, but some of the similar ones, it's her pictures. I'm like, okay, this is legit. I like it. So I go back to her Style Seat so I can book an appointment. So when I go to book her appointment, of course they have, your deposits that you have to pay, and each one of her different styles have different deposits. So she was like, make sure, in her bio, she was like, make sure you choose the correct style for your deposit. Because once you pay your deposit, you cannot change within 24 hours. I was like, okay, perfect. And it was because certain styles had certain time limits. I was good with that. So I went and I found my style that I wanted. I was like, cool. And my deposit was half of what the service. Some deposits only asked for $25 if you were getting, seemed like something simple like a ponytail or something, probably like $25. But if you were getting braids like I was getting it, and it's probably because it was time consuming, you had to pay half of what your service was. So I said, okay. So I went ahead and it was $100 and you had to pay it through Style Seats, and they only took Visa, Master, and American Express. I said, okay, let me go ahead, and I put my Amex in it. And the style that I was getting was $200. So my deposit was $100. So I went ahead and I paid it with my Amex. And once I paid it with my Amex, but I paid it with my business Amex. That's where I kind of screwed myself, but I paid it with my business Amex. And the only reason I paid it with my business Amex is because that was the closest thing to me. I'm going to be honest. I was being lazy, and I was sitting at my desk when I was doing this, and I just reached for the first card that was near me to go ahead and book it. It is what it is to me. So I did that, and I went ahead about my day. So I went ahead about my day, and I had to do some other errands and, some other things. When you're getting ready for a vacation, you're getting ready for vacation. So I'm going buy outfits. I'm going to see what hubby needs, and we just doing a whole lot of before we actually leave for this vacation. So it gets to the day of my vacation. It gets to the day of my appointment. That morning, I could not locate her. So if you watch my last disaster video, it was similar to that. I could not locate the girl shop. And so I'm actually usually really early, but this time I got there on time. And when I got there on time, her salon sat next to where the address was. It was actually a thing over, but she on her style sheet she did have her actual name of her salon. So I saw that it was next door, but I had pulled up and I was sitting in front of the wrong place. But I saw it because it was like a door next to it. So I saw it. So I got out and I went to knock on her door to for the appointment. So when I got there, she told me, she was like, hey, she opened up the door. She was like, hey, can you give me 10 minutes because I need to clean up and everything from my previous person. And I was like, sure, no problem, So I went back and sat in the car. Now, mind you, my appointment, and I'm going to let y'all know, I like to do everything early in the morning in case any mishaps. My appointment was for 7 a.m., okay? And when she told me she was like she had to clean up from her previous appointment, I was like, okay, that's fine, but I was there at 7 o'clock in the morning. So either your earliest appointment was for 5 in the morning or 4 in the morning, I don't know, but I got there at 7. It might have been for 6, I don't know. So I went and I sat in the car, and when I sat in the car, first I stood outside, and waited for 10 minutes, and she still hadn't opened the door back up. So I went and sat in the car, and I sat in the car for maybe 20 more minutes, maybe. She started on my hair, let me just say this. She started on my hair at 7:45. Okay, we'll just say that. But I think she came to get me at 7:30. So when I got inside, she was prepping my hair and stuff. So she started on my hair at 7:45. Alright, so she started on my hair, and she started doing my hair. And she was like, this style not going to work for you. And I was like, huh? She was like, it's not gonna work for you. She was like, this style don't fit your face. Like, you want a style that fits your face. And I was like, okay. She was like, I'm gonna give you a style that fits your face, if you don't mind. And I was like, I don't mind. She was like, okay. So what I paid for was braids like these, but I had paid for them at that time, all going like back, but this size, and all of them, it was gonna be like this going back. That's what I paid for. So she was like, usually I charge a little more to do this, but don't trip, I got you. I was like, okay. So she did it or whatever, and really it came out like the picture I sent her, but she said it was different. Hey, I gotta go with her. You know what I'm saying? She said she had to do something a little different in the back and a little different in the front. But to me, it looked like what I had wanted anyway. So I was like, okay. She was like, it's another technique that she had to do and not what I asked her to do. I was like, okay, no problem. Appreciate you. But it took a little longer because it was the braids that I wanted, she had on her website, took an hour. And This actually, she said, takes an hour and 10 minutes. She said it takes 10 minutes more because it's a little different technique. So I was like, okay, I don't do hair. I just pay for those professionals. Okay, no problem. So when she's finished wrapping up my hair, I said, do you want me to pay you? Because I did have cash with me because, again, we were leaving to go on vacation. So I do get cash before I leave. And we had already did that. Me and my husband had already hit the bank. I already changed the cards that needed to be changed to go on vacation. So I was good to go. I said, do I pay you cash? Do you want me to pay you cash? Because I have cash on me. I said, do you want me to pay you Cash App or do I pay on Style Seat? She said, oh, girl, don't worry about it. Style Seat's going to charge it. You good. I said, okay. Well, thank you so much. Have a good day. She said, no problem. You have a good day too. So I'm leaving. And so we gone or whatever. And about maybe an hour later, she texts me and she said, hey, your card is saying that it cannot be approved. I'm like, my card saying it can't be approved? What are you talking about? I be getting these mishaps with these cards. I don't be understanding. So I'm like, what do you mean? So I was like, okay, what card did? So I'm thinking I gave her my personal card. So I'm like, girl, you got me bit. So I went into the app or whatever, and the app says that it was approved. So I'm like, so I texted her back. I said, the app said it was approved, and I sent her a snapshot. And she was like, well, on my end, it's saying that it's not approved. So I'm like, okay, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if she's trying to scam, but it's telling me on my end, Style C said it was approved. So she was like, I don't know. She was like, but give me a minute. Let me check into it after I finish this head. I said, okay, no problem. I said, but if you need to, let me know because I was about 15 minutes away from her. I said, I'll drive back to you and we can figure it out together because I have cash and I have my cards. I mean, what you need. So she was like, okay, you cool. She was like, I'm going to just let you know after I finish with this client or whatever. I said, okay, fine. So we going about our day, doing the rest of our stuff to get ready for vacation. And something told me to go back on Style Seat because it didn't sit well on me that this girl saying that her payment didn't go through. So I go back on Style Seat. And when I go back on Style Seat, it's showing what is showing me approved. It's showing me the deposit of $100 approved. It's not showing me the balance. So what's happening is it charged me once, but it didn't charge me for the second one. So I'm like, she right. It didn't. And I showed it to my husband. He was like, yeah, it's showing $100. And I was like, yeah, but it's not showing $200. So I was like, so I called my Amex company. And I'm like, what is going on? And so they was like, I don't see that transaction. I don't see a transaction for the 100 or the other 100 on your account. I'm like, what you mean? I paid the 100. I'm calling my personal Amex. I'm not calling my business Amex, okay? So I'm like, something ain't right. So I hang up the phone or whatever, and she calls me. She texts me back, and she was like, hey, sweetie, you didn't. It's saying that your card is not going through. And I was like, I just talked to my Amex company, and they don't even see the first payment. And she was like, I don't know what's going on, but you more than welcome to just come back and pay me my $100. And I was like, okay, that's cool. I'll come back and do that. But I was like, something ain't right. And so then when I look back at my Style Seat thing, it showed the 200 was approved. So I'm like, what is going on? So I texted her again. I said, are you sure that it's not showing approved? She said, I'm positive. She was like, I don't see the payment for you. And I said, something ain't right. Something in the water don't smell right. So I said, okay. I said, let me finish up what we doing here, because we were at the store. Was actually getting some more toiletry stuff. I said, let me finish up here, and I'm gonna head back to you. She was like, okay, cool. So she was real sweet about it, not no attitude, nothing like that. Like, she was really, really sweet about it. So I said, something ain't right. So I told my husband, I said, it's showing now that the 200 was approved, but she's saying she ain't get it. So he said, well, can I take your Amex? So I said, I am. So I called my Amex again, and I said, hey, and I got somebody on the phone, and I'm talking to them, and I'm telling them, hey, it's showing that $200 was approved, but she's not seeing it on her end. And she said, maybe you need to contact the place that you actually putting your card through, or whatever, the third party that you're using. But I'll tell you this, I do not see a $200 charge, a $100 and a $100 charge on your account. The last time you used this account was in another country. So I said, this is weird, because it's showing paid the 100, but not the 200 is showing on my style seat. I'm confused. I said, okay, let me call style seat, because I'm really confused. So I get on the app to try to find a phone number to actually call. In the midst of me doing that, she texted me back, and she said, hey, sweetie, thank you for the payment. I said, thank you for the payment? What are you talking about? I'm like, I am confused. She was like, I was like, so I told my husband was like, we need to go back over there. I said, I'm confused. She just said, thank you for the payment. I'm confused. Where did she get the payment? What? So I'm looking at the style seat thing, and now it's saying that I owe $200. Like, both of the payments were changed, and now I have a balance of $200. Now I am really confused. I'm like, what in the world is going on? Because first it showed payment approved, then it showed 200 approved, then it showed 100 approved. Now it's showing 200 owed. So now I'm really confused, because she sent me a text in the midst of that and said, thank you, sweetie, for the payment. So I text her back. I said, I really, I did it. I wrote 5 reallys. Apologize. But I'm on the phone with my Amex company, and they're not showing neither payment. I said, now I'm back on style seat, and they're showing that I owe you $200. Can you tell me what you see on your side and what I see on my side? Because I'm confused. And so she was like, sure. So she said, hold on a second. Give me a minute. Let me call you right back, because I have a client I'm wrapping up in my chair. I said, okay, thank you. So I hung up the phone. I hung up the phone. I said, something in the water don't smell too right. Don't smell too right. So I go and I log into my American Express app. Now when I log into my American Express app, I don't just have my personal, but I also have my business. And I have my business checking account also. So I have my business credit card, my regular Amex credit card, and my Amex checking account. Okay? It's my business checking account. So I have all those pulled up, and I can see, physically see everything. So what happened was my American Express business account charged it as a fraud, because it's the same payment going to a person twice, the same amount going to a person twice within 2 days. So they put it as fraud. So they took out they paid the 100, and then they were going to pay they paid the 100 first, then they paid the second 100. Then I guess they looked it over when I called about my personal account, and they put it as a fraud. So it was put as a fraud, and that's why it was showing back on Style Seat as me owing the $200 because it was on my business account, and my business account is very, I don't know, it's very touchy like that. If something don't seem right, it's fraud. Automatically fraud. You have to hurry up and hop on the phone and call them and be like, what? On a smaller account. Now, my bigger account, my business bigger account with Amex, I don't get that foolishness and that headache. But my smaller account, I get the foolishness, okay? Because they quick to tell you it's fraud. So I'm like, oh my God. So I did not pay this girl at all. At all. At all. I didn't pay her at all. So I go in and I'm like, before I call her back, let me make a payment. So I get my personal card and I went ahead and paid her the $200. Because I'm like, this is crazy. So I paid her the $200 and I sent it to her. And I said, so when she calls back, I can explain to her what the issue was. So I sent it to her. So I sent it to her with my personal Amex. So when I sent it to her, I didn't hear back from her. So I just wanted to make sure she got it. So I waited like a little bit because she said she had a client or whatever. So the next day, she texted me. And she said, hey, sweetie, I don't know what's going on, but I want to thank you again for your payment. And she said, because it came to me twice. So I don't know if you're doing a future hairstyle or something. And I said, are you available for me to call you? And she was like, sure. So I called her. And I was like, hey. She was like, hey. She was like, I'm really confused. Because it looks like they took it, they paid it, they took it, they paid it. But look right now that it wound up being that it's paid. I said, yes. I said, what happened was my business account saw the 100 and then it saw the second 100. It looked like it was fraud. So they frauded it. So I went ahead and paid with my personal. And that's what you should get because the other ones are not valid. And she was like, okay. She was like, I thought you had just paid for an extra hairstyle and I was just going to figure out when you wanted to do it. But thank you so much and I appreciate it. I said, no, thank you and I apologize for the inconvenience. She was like, no, because you were honest. She was like, because technically you could have just let him take it, and because I was confused. And I was like, no. I said, I really don't want to be a scammer, but I just wanted to make sure that you did get paid. So that's how I almost scammed my hairstylist. So stay tuned for your next video.